what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me for another video today. In today's video, I'm going to be going through the contour and highlight process step by step, starting with a cream slash stick contour and moving on to a powder contour to put over top. I do show you only half of my face done in the beginning, and then come back with the full face just so you can really see the difference in what one half of the face looks like contoured and highlighted compared to the other half. So if that sounds like something that would just tickle your little fancy, then make sure you keep on watching. Also, if you have not yet, please hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss future content. Typically, I upload every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This week, we got a little bit off due to some internet issues, so this week was a Wednesday, Friday upload. But typically, we're on Tuesday and Thursday. So don't forget to subscribe so you make sure to see all of my Tuesday and Thursday content. I know you're singing the song in your head right now, aren't you? Don't lie to me. You're singing the song. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about my highlight and contour routine, then just keep watching. Okay, so let's get started. What I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about starting off with only one half of my face so that you can all really see the difference that the contouring and the highlight makes, and then probably off camera do the other half. I do obviously have foundation on, and then I have the majority of my eye makeup done. I didn't do the bottom of my eyes because I haven't done concealer under there yet, because that's part of the highlighting routine, and I have a routine that I have to stick with or it drives me crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Please excuse my eyebrows. I'm growing them out. They're a big bushy mess. I'm not into them, but it is what it is. So it is important to note that I don't have any powder on my face. So if you plan on using any kind of a cream, stick, anything like that for a contour or a highlight, don't put powder on first. I can't guarantee that if you put powder on first, it's going to really mess everything up and have a bad reaction, but it's most likely going to happen. Powder can get really cakey or can even ball up if you put a cream on top of it. So I have absolutely no cream on, or powder. I have cream because I have foundation. Dum bum 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 boom. I have absolutely no powder on my face. So let's get started. Today I'm going to be using, this is messy, sorry, don't judge me, the Wet n Wild dual end contour stick. So this has a highlight on one end and a contour on the other. This would be about the perfect shade for me for a contour. That's the reason why I'm using it. Plus, it's really inexpensive. This probably cost me $3.99 to $5.99. I don't remember. It's been a little bit. But this is in the shade light medium. That's another super important thing when you're going to contour, especially with like a stick or a cream contour. You want to make sure you have the right shade for you. That's going to be the truth for any color, or for any shade. Like if you're using bronzer to contour, but cream is so pigmented, and it's really important that you have like a good undertone type shade. So I'm not using like deep, dark, freaking orange brown, you know, I'm using like a really nice light grayish tone brown color because I am fair skinned. So I am going to go ahead and just do this side of my face for you all so you can see how it goes. So what I usually start with is I start with my forehead. You want to make sure that you're contouring depending on your forehead. If you have a tiny little forehead, you might not want to contour at all. If you do want to add a little bronzer, that makes sense just to warm up your face. I don't have like a huge forehead, but I have like a medium sized forehead. So, and just for the purposes of this video, I'm going to go ahead and do it. You want to make sure you're contouring this outer area. It's kind of like going from the middle of your eyebrows, and if you go just straight up, you're wanting to contour this area. Excuse my voice. And I just kind of make 3 lines, kind of like that. You can see that, okay? And so it's kind of like a 3. So you're gonna wanna go boom, boom. Oop, I drew myself. So you don't have to fully go all the way down like that with a line, but then you're gonna go right on that creasy area of your cheek. If you were kind of gonna go like that, make the fishy face. And where that line is right there, that's where you're gonna wanna hit that with the contour stick. And then with the 3, you're gonna wanna go right along the jawline right there. I know that seems like a lot, but I'm gonna blend it out. So for blending out, you can use whatever you want. Some people like to use a sponge. I am not a sponge person when it comes to blending out a contour because I feel like I really, especially a contour stick, because it's not as creamy as like a cream contour. So I like to use a more stiff feeling brush. So I usually use this e.l.f. brush, and it's like this angled contour e.l.f. brush. And it does the trick mighty fine, if I do say so myself. So this Wet n Wild contour is very pigmented. That's why I started like blending it in right away. I wanted to make sure that it doesn't leave like a crazy freaking line. I'm gonna get right in here now. I like to just kind of blend it out first, and then I push up on my face. Sorry if I'm looking myself in the viewfinder a lot, but I need to make sure that I don't look like a tool, you know? Who wants to look like a tool? So you're gonna wanna push up so that it blends up into this top contour where you did your forehead. So I do want to say this is not something that I do on an everyday basis. Contour is something that I do generally for special occasions only. I bronze every time I do makeup, but I don't know. I'm just not one of those kind of people that are like wanting to contour every single day. It's just not my thing. But I do think that when I do it, I can definitely see the difference in my face. I'm blending that a little bit down my neck too. So I can definitely see the difference in my face when I contour. And also, I definitely feel like snatched, if you know what I'm saying. I feel like that face is snatched. Okay, so that is that for the cream product. You can already see the difference, how I look a lot more defined. Obviously, this side it's flat, looks dead because I'm pale. It's very much more flat and there's not a lot of definition, and then here we have a lot more definition. So after you add the contour, you add the highlight. So I'm going to use my Tarte Shape Tape in the shade 125 Fair. And where you want to highlight is you want to highlight right under your eye. They say to highlight in like an upside down triangle. I typically don't like form my highlight out in an upside down triangle, especially with a highlight that is so pigmented and adds so much coverage, like the Tarte Shape Tape. I don't know why I keep trying to say sharp. I will put it like right here in the inner corner area and blend it out a bit. And then I added one line right there in the center of the forehead, small line down my nose, little dot, middle of my chin. So what I was trying to say is I don't do the upside down triangle on my face underneath my eye because it's too much. I'll get cakey, and I'm not trying to get cakey. I do add it right in the inner part right there under my eye, and then I blend it out in a triangle type shape motion, you know? Test. Try to find a better teacher than me. Dare you. JK, I suck at teaching. So I'm blending it out. And you see how I'm kind of maneuvering it to go in like a triangle type shape under my eye? Minus, so I'm getting that triangle shape minus the cakiness because I didn't add as much. Yes, I'm going to make stupid faces. It's just the way the ball bounces. So I kind of go as far down to where my nose ends, right there. And make sure it's blended out. I even go a little bit over here on my nose. I haven't added the contour to my nose yet. And I will be doing that still. But to just make my nose look even a little bit like more slim. I can't speak. Just to slim my nose out even more, I like to add it or bring it over to the edge of my nose like that. Looky there. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and blend out my forehead highlight. Kind of just go right in the center. I don't bring it too far up because that will defeat the purpose of the contour that we're putting down. I don't bring it too far down. Just kind of keep it right in the center of my forehead. And then for my nose, straight line. I blend down and then go, see on my tip, like I bring it out just a little bit just to create that little button shape. You know, everybody wants a little button nose, right? I have somewhat of a button nose by nature, but not like fully. So to make it look a little more buttony, we'll just bring it down a little bit on the tips of the nose to create the roundness. Okay, so before I move on to the powder part of the contour process, I'm going to get my nose. What I do with my nose, and this is very dependent on your nose shape. So I'm not going to sit here and say that this exact thing that I do for my nose is going to work for your nose to slim it. It might, depending on your nose shape, it might not. I'm not an expert on like different nose shape contours because I've only really had mine to work with for the most part. So what I do for my nose is I bring it, and I don't need a ton. I don't feel like I need to make my nose much smaller, but I do like to add a little bit. I'll bring it right on the edges right there, just like that. And I'm not going to do this side because I'm not supposed to. And then I'll bring it right there. Typically, like I said, I would do it on both sides, but I'm not going to do it like right now. And then for this part, I do use my sponge. And I just very gently blend that out. I go up a little ways toward my eyebrow. Not all the way, but a little ways. And then I'll bring it down a little bit. And then for the bottom part, I just press it in and go up a little bit. Okay, and that's that for the cream part. So now I'm going to go ahead and add the powder. It is important that after you add a cream, you add a powder over top of the cream so that it stays in place all day. I'm going to use my Wander Beauty Trip for 2. I just showed this in my January BoxyCharm unboxing video, and I'm obsessed with this bronzer. Literally obsessed. If you are I know that I was like a critic at first, and I was like, that's not going to show up. But there was like an overlay on this bronzer that once you get it off, like the very top, this bronzer turns into freaking magic. And this is so amazing for light-skinned ladies or gentlemen, whomever. I did see somebody that had a little bit more of a darker skin complexion than I unboxed their BoxyCharm, and they got a deeper palette, so I'm glad of that. I was a little worried the BoxyCharm was giving like everybody this light shade, and that wasn't going to be okay. So I'm going to go right over the top of where I put that cream product and just really blend it out nicely and make sure there's no harsh edges. So what I like to do, because I'm using this Sonia Kashuk brush, and it's puffy, right? It's not like a thin angled brush like I was using before. So when I go into my cheeks, I pinch it together like that. I dip into my bronzer, and then I go right like that on the angle, and then the same thing I did with the cream product, blend it upward. Even smile a little. And there you have it. So next step for this process is our powder. Sorry, that was shiny. So I like to use the Fenty Beauty powder in the shade Butter. This powder is not translucent. It definitely has some pigment to it, which I think is perfect when you're trying to really add that beautiful contour or that really beautiful powder on top of the contour, and you're really trying to highlight the spots where you want highlighted. So I use my Wet n Wild sponge that has like a flat edge, and I'm gonna go right in underneath in that triangle shape underneath my eye. So I'm going in with quite a bit. I'm going all the way up to the contour, the contour I put on my nose. Go down, triangle motion. No, triangle shape. Let it sit. I'm gonna do the same thing right under my contour on my face, and I'm gonna just put a straight line right underneath where I want it. So the same thing if you were doing the ducky face again, right? And you wanna put it right under that contour. Okay, got some powder on my little dressy dress. So I'm gonna go ahead and let that sit for a few. I would say I'm probably gonna let it sit for about 2 to 3 minutes. Some people let it sit for a lot longer than that. I've seen people even like do their entire eyeshadow and all of that jazz while it's sitting. For me, that's just, I'm just not, I just don't. I don't really feel like waiting that long. Also, I feel like with this powder, because it is so pigmented and it definitely does leave some sort of a cast. It's not like a bad cast, but it's some kind of cast. I feel like leaving it on that long, it just does something that I don't want it to do. And it gets a little bit too cast-like for my taste. If I were using a translucent powder that didn't have any color, I may consider it leaving it on a little bit longer, but not for this one. So, be right back. Okay, so the powder's been sitting on my face for a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and I just take this crown brush. This is what I always use to dust off any kind of powders, or if I have like if I'm doing my eyeshadow and I have little fallout pieces, I dust it off with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and just sweep that powder away and buff it a little bit as I go. Same for right over here. Sorry if you can hear weird noises, that's my son. Voila. Look at the difference in this side to this side. Beautiful, right? Like, it's so stunning. I love the way it carves everything out. It brings so much definition to my face. It's worth it. It takes a little bit of extra time, but if you are somebody who is like extra, if you know if you're extra or not, okay? I feel like I'm half extra, so there are days when I feel extra and there are days where I'm like, nah. If you ever feel extra in your entire life and you have those extra days, this is a worth it step. Okay, so to bring it all together, I'm just going to add my blush and my highlight on this side of the face just so you can really see it snatched together. I'm using that same Wander Beauty palette because we got the contour and the blush. Okay, brings it together even more. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my highlight on this side of my face. A little birdie outside. I'm using the Ofra and Nikkie Tutorials Glazed Donut Highlighter. Speaking of Nikkie tutorials, take a second to do that. Proud of her. Can't imagine how difficult that video was to make, but I am extremely proud of her. I 100% doubt she will watch this video, but on the off chance that she does, Nikkie, I think you're amazing. So I like to bring that highlight just above my eyebrow a little bit too, just to like make it all blend in nicely together. And I also bring it a little bit on my cheek. Just so when I'm turning my head, you can see that nice little glow. Okay, there she is. I'm feeling it. I'm loving it. Come on, this is great, right? You can definitely see the difference in this side of my face and this side of my face. Even my chin, even my double freaking chin. Look, it looks more sucked in, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and go off camera, do this side of my face, and then finish up my bottom eyelashes, and we will be let's wrap, fool. We will be back to wrap this video up, so be right back. Okay, welcome back. So, finish off the rest of my face. As you can see, it is all nicely brought together. I love being sick. And it's just amazing. It's beautiful. I really like it. So, I hope that this helped you in some way. I know that there are like bazillions of videos out there about highlighting and contouring, but personally, I like to watch all of them so that I can see different people's techniques. So I'm sorry if this is a little overplayed, but I hope it's not, and I hope that it helped you, and I hope that you try this out. I would love to see recreations. Tag me, let me know, DM me, whatever. I would love to see your recreations. Like I said, this Wet n Wild stick is hella cheap. Tarte Shape Tape is not necessarily cheap, but you can find really good alternatives at the drugstore. So that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. I will have all the details in the description box for all the stuff that's on my face other than what I showed you, including my eyes. I played with a BoxyCharm palette that I got last month, and it performed so beautifully, and I really like it. So if you want to see a tutorial on this eye look, then let me know in the comments below. If you've made it this far, you're amazing and I love you. Don't forget to like the video. Comment if you enjoyed this. Comment if you plan on recreating. Comment if you have like a different technique. I want to know all the things, so let me know. And do not forget to subscribe, and I will see you in next week's video, which will be on Tuesday. I know this week we got a little funked up. I didn't say the F word. Don't come for me. We got a little funky because of my slow ass internet, but next week we'll be back on Tuesday. So hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you later. Bye.